Stranded on a forbidden alien world, a fearless scientist is nearly killed by a mutated serpent, until a rogue stranger saves her life. But what starts as survival quickly spirals into something far deeper when they uncover an ancient facility, designed to rewrite the rules of life itself. Bound by an empathic link neither fully understands, they must face a choice that could unite species or tear them apart forever. What would you do if the future of evolution rested in your hands? If you are new here, then please subscribe this channel and show thumbs up by liking the video. Now let's move toward this wonderful story. The jungle air of Viridian Thorn pressed down like a heavy blanket, thick with moisture and buzzing with strange, unseen life. Kayla adjusted the grip on her equipment pack, sweat trickling down her spine inside her suit. Her short, dark hair was damp against her forehead, but she barely noticed. Her scanner blinked faintly in her palm, leading her deeper into the green shadows. She had ignored the warning signs posted around the perimeter. Rules had never been her thing, not when real discovery was always buried just beyond the line someone else drew. Her boots sank slightly in the soft soil as she moved further into the restricted zone. Giant blue-leafed plants swayed in a breeze that didn't touch the surface. Everything on Viridian Thorn had a way of watching without eyes, listening without ears. It gave her the chills, but Kayla told herself she didn't come all this way to be scared. She came to finish what she started. Just a few more scans, she thought. The plant life here was mutating in patterns too strange to ignore. If she could isolate the root cause, some unknown microorganism or alien energy field, she could publish findings that would shake the science world to its core. The Global Science Union would have to stop treating her like some rookie with a dream and start recognizing her as a pioneer. She crouched beside a cluster of glowing mushrooms, each one pulsing with a soft lavender light. Carefully, she extended her sampling tool, watching the readouts spike in real time. "Bingo," she whispered, and smiled to herself. But the smile faded fast. Something rustled behind her. Kayla froze. Jungle noises were normal, too normal. This rustle was different, thicker, closer. Then it came again, followed by the faintest hiss, almost like breath through a metal tube. She turned slowly, only to find herself staring at nothing but vines and shadows. Her heart started pounding, but she shook it off. Probably just a night glider, she told herself. Nothing new. She stood, took a step back, then screamed. A thick, glowing coil whipped out from the undergrowth and wrapped around her ankle, yanking her off her feet. Her scanner flew from her hand as she hit the ground hard, the breath knocked out of her lungs. Before she could even cry out again, more coils snaked around her legs, her waist, her arms. The creature moved fast, unnaturally fast, and she realized in horror what had caught her. The sky coil. Locals had whispered about it in the nearest outpost town. A massive serpent mutated by the planet's energy, with scales that shimmered like electricity and strength beyond anything Earth native. Kayla had dismissed the stories as superstition. Now it had her in its grip. Her body screamed in pain as the serpent tightened around her, pinning her arms. She fought to reach the blade strapped to her thigh, but her fingers were already going numb. Her vision darkened at the edges as the air was squeezed from her chest. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't scream. Then, a flash of movement. A deep, mechanical hum rang out, followed by the sickening sound of flesh being cut. Something splashed onto her face, warm, thick, and not her own blood. The pressure around her ribs lessened slightly. The coils spasmed, then fell limp one by one. Kayla gasped, lungs drinking in air like water. She lay there for a moment, barely processing what just happened. Then she saw him, a figure stepping through the smoke-like mist, holding a humming axe made of glowing steel. Tall, lean, and rough around the edges, he looked like someone who'd made a home out of danger. His beard was uneven, his jacket patched in 10 places, but the way he carried himself screamed confidence. "You all right?" he asked, voice low and rough. "Try not to move too much. Could be bruised ribs." Kayla pushed herself up slowly, her muscles shaking. "I didn't ask for help," she muttered between breaths. He chuckled and offered her a hand, which she pointedly ignored. No, but you clearly needed it. Name's Rowan. Kayla, she said, not looking at him as she retrieved her scanner. Miraculously, it still worked. And I don't make a habit of trusting strangers in forbidden jungles. Rowan shrugged. Suit yourself, but I've got a camp about 2 clicks east. Shelter, food, clean water, and no more giant death snakes. Well, probably. Kayla hesitated. Every survival instinct screamed not to follow him. But night was coming fast, and her own camp was too far. She was sore, exhausted, and still shaking. Pride could wait. Fine, she said. Lead the way. Rowan grinned like he'd already won something. Try to keep up, science girl. They moved quickly through the thick brush, Rowan hacking vines aside with his strange axe. Kayla kept one eye on him and one on the trees. Something about him didn't sit right. Too prepared, too confident, too familiar with this place. As the sky darkened and the jungle came alive with the shrieks of predators, Kayla realized one thing for certain. She might have escaped the sky coil, but she had just walked into something much more dangerous. Kayla didn't sleep much that night. Even inside the stone-walled shelter Rowan had set up, surrounded by strange ancient architecture, the jungle outside kept her on edge. Every rustle sounded like the sky coil coming back for round 2. Rowan, on the other hand, was snoring lightly, in the corner, completely relaxed like this was just another evening in the park. She sat near the campfire, watching the flickering flames dance over the moss-covered carvings around them. These ruins weren't natural. The walls had patterns, symbols that pulsed faintly in the firelight, like they were waiting for someone to notice. In the morning, after a quick meal of protein bars and water, Kayla finally asked what had been bugging her all night. What exactly are you doing here, Rowan? And don't say camping. Rowan wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and leaned against a broken pillar. All right, full story. I heard rumors of a creature called the Lunaris Hydra. Locals call it a myth, but I've seen traces, tracks, bioluminescent trails. The thing's real, and it's not just a big scary monster. It's linked to the tech in these ruins. Some kind of guardian or key. If I can find it, it could be the biggest discovery in modern history. Kayla raised an eyebrow. You're a hunter? Salvage expert, he replied, clearly preferring that term. Find rare things, sell rare things. Sometimes keep rare things secret from people who'd ruin them. That last part made her pause. She didn't trust many people, but something in his tone sounded genuine. Still, trust was earned, not assumed. You said the Hydra's connected to this place? Rowan nodded. I think this ruin isn't just a building. I think it's a lab, or maybe a temple, maybe both. Whatever built it was working on something big. Kayla's curiosity burned brighter than her doubt. Show me. He led her deeper into the structure, through narrow corridors lined with stone that seemed to hum under their feet. The air grew cooler, the light dimmer, but the blue glow from the symbols on the walls grew stronger. Rowan stopped at a sealed stone door. This is where it gets weird, he said, gesturing for her to take the lead. It doesn't open for me. But maybe. Kayla stepped forward, brushing her fingers against the carvings. As soon as her skin touched the stone, a pulse of energy surged through her arm. The door responded with a deep rumble and slowly slid open. Behind it, a vast chamber revealed itself, circular with a platform in the center and more symbols etched along the walls and ceiling. Whoa, Rowan whispered, stepping in beside her. Kayla's scanner lit up instantly, readings spiking off. The chart. This place is alive, she murmured. It's not just technology, it's biological too, some kind of hybrid system. As she walked around the central platform, her body began to tingle, starting in her fingers, moving slowly. Up her arms she looked down. Faint glowing patterns were appearing on her skin, mirroring the ones on the walls. I don't feel right, she said, stumbling slightly. Rowan was beside her in an instant, steadying her. What's happening? I think it's reacting to me. My DNA. I'm part empath. Minor ability usually just lets me feel someone's emotions a bit. But now, this place is doing something to it. Rowan helped her sit on the platform. The patterns on her skin pulsed in time with her heartbeat. Is it dangerous? I don't know, Kayla admitted. But it's not hurting me. Not yet. Then without warning, the center of the room lit up. A 3D hologram flickered to life, floating above the platform. It showed a massive creature with several heads glowing with the same blue light. The Lunaris Hydra. Surrounding it were ancient beings, connected by streams of energy that ran between them and the creature. This is their history, Kayla said softly, watching the images shift. This place was designed to connect life forms, not just study them, enhance them, join them. You're saying the Hydra is, what, a bridge? Maybe, she said. Or a key. They were working on something called empathic resonance, the ability to link two different beings through emotion, through biology. It wasn't just science, it was spiritual. Rowan stared at her, genuinely impressed. And you unlocked it just by walking in? Kayla gave a shaky laugh. I didn't exactly mean to. Suddenly, a sound behind them, a low, deep hum that grew into a growl. They turned toward the corridor where they'd entered. Something was moving. Kayla stood, still unsteady, as Rowan stepped in front of her, axe at the ready. But it wasn't an attack. Emerging from the shadows was a creature unlike anything either of them had seen. It shimmered between solid and ghost-like, its many heads, swaying gently as it hovered just above the ground. The Lunaris Hydra. Rowan didn't move. What's it doing? Kayla reached out instinctively. Her glowing hand hovered inches from one of the heads. It's not here to hurt us. It's drawn to the connection we created. The Hydra lowered its head, allowing her to touch it. The moment they made contact, a wave of energy surged through her. Visions, feelings, thoughts that weren't hers. Ancient memories flooded her mind. She staggered back, breathless. This thing, it's not just alive. It remembers everything. It was part of their experiment. It is the experiment. Rowan looked at her, wide-eyed. What does that mean? For us? Kayla's gaze locked with his. It means we're part of it now, whether we want to be or not. And in the glowing silence of that forgotten chamber, the Hydra watched them, waiting for what came next. Kayla didn't sleep the next night either. Not because she was scared, but because something inside her was changing and it wouldn't let her rest. The glowing patterns on her skin, once faint, now pulsed with a steady light, like she was a part of the ruins themselves. Her thoughts weren't just her own anymore. Emotions flickered in her chest that didn't feel like hers. Surges of concern, curiosity, and oddly warmth that she suspected were coming from Rowan. Somehow, the ancient alien technology had linked them. She could feel him without even looking. Rowan noticed the changes too. He didn't say much, but she saw the way his eyes followed her. He moved more gently around her now, as if trying not to disturb whatever transformation was happening. That morning, as the sun crept through the broken ceiling of the ruin, Kayla caught him watching her with a mix of wonder and something softer. She wasn't sure how to describe it. Affection, maybe, or fear of what she might become. I'm not the same, she said quietly, running a hand over her arm where the glowing symbols danced across her skin. Rowan leaned against the stone wall nearby. You're changing. I see it. But it doesn't look like something bad. It feels bigger than me. Like I've been plugged into a network I didn't know existed, she replied. And it's not just me. I think it's changing you, too, he chuckled. I'm not glowing like a space lantern, if that's what you mean. No, she said with a faint smile. But I can feel your thoughts sometimes, your emotions. Like right now, you're worried, but you're trying to hide it. And you're wondering if this connection is real or just a trick. Rowan stared at her, jaw slightly open. Okay, that's creepy accurate. Kayla stepped closer. It's empathy, the real kind, deep, I think this is what the ancient builders were trying to create, a way to understand each other completely. No lies, no confusion, just truth. He looked down at her hand as it reached for his. When their fingers touched, something clicked, like two puzzle pieces sliding into place. Kayla felt it all rush in. Rowan's memories of his lonely travels, the regrets he carried, the quiet hope he had buried that maybe this mission would mean something. And he in turn saw her too, her ambition, her fear of failure, and her aching desire to prove she was more than just a field scientist. They both pulled back, breathless. It was intense, beautiful, a little terrifying. The Lunaris Hydra, still, hovering nearby, reacted to the energy shift. Its glowing tendrils waved slowly, responding to the link that had deepened between Kayla and Rowan. The creature moved closer, its head circling them in a slow dance, watching with what felt like approval. The walls of the chamber began to shift again, revealing more symbols, more holographic projections, this time of experiments showing alien beings sharing not just emotion, but healing energy. They were studying connection as a form of medicine, Kayla said, eyes wide. They believed emotional bonds could trigger biological changes, regeneration, cellular repair, even compatibility between different species. Rowan raised an eyebrow. You mean like making babies? Kyla laughed, despite herself. Well, that might have been part of it. But more than that. A way to survive together. To truly become something new. Rowan shook his head in amazement. You're telling me this place is like some ancient love lab? Kayla shrugged. Maybe. A lab, a sanctuary, a place to test the limits of connection. And now it's testing us. That afternoon, the changes in Kayla's body reached a peak. She collapsed briefly while examining a glowing stone tablet. Rowan caught her, easing her down gently, panic clear in his eyes. What's happening? He asked, brushing the hair from her forehead. I don't know, she said, gripping his hand. It's speeding up. My body's adapting to something and I don't know if it can keep up. Rowan placed her hand over his heart. Whatever this is, you're not facing it alone. They sat together for hours in the glowing chamber, surrounded by the silent knowledge of a civilization long gone. The Hydra remained close, unmoving, but not threatening, as if waiting for their next decision. Later that evening, as the sun set, outside and the ruins bathed in soft blue light, Kayla stood up stronger than before. The glowing symbols had settled into a calm, rhythmic pattern on her skin. Her mind felt clearer, her heart lighter. The transformation wasn't finished, but she understood it better now. She was becoming a bridge between species, between emotions, between past and future. I think I know why the Hydra brought us here, she said, turning to Rowan. We're not just explorers. We're part of its test. Rowan nodded slowly. So, what's the next step? Kayla looked at him, her eyes glowing softly in the fading light. We let it finish what it started. The Lunaris Hydra drifted closer once more, and together, hand in hand, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever the future held, bound by something far deeper than they'd ever expected to find. The final chamber opened like a breath being held for centuries and finally released. Kayla and Rowan stepped inside, the door sealing silently behind them. The air was cooler here, clearer, humming with a kind of quiet power that neither of them could quite explain. The floor beneath their feet lit up with soft amber light, and the walls came alive with motion, streams of data, images of alien figures, glowing diagrams showing connections between species, emotions, and shared energy. This was the heart of the facility. They had made it to the source. Kayla's skin shimmered with pale blue patterns that seemed more stable now, no longer flickering erratically, but pulsing like a second heartbeat. Rowan stood close beside her, eyes wide with awe, but his hand remained, steady in hers. The empathic link between them was no longer a question. It was a fact. They could feel each other's thoughts, sense each other's hopes and fears without saying a word. The bond wasn't just emotional, it was physical, woven into their biology. In the center of the chamber stood a raised platform with a strange crystal device hovering just above it. Light poured from the crystal in slow, steady waves, washing over them like warm water. Kayla instinctively knew what it was, the final part of the process. The harmonizer. Rowan stepped forward. "Are you sure about this?" Kayla nodded. "The changes are already inside me. If I don't complete the transformation, my body might reject it. But if we go through with this, there's no going back." He didn't flinch. "Then we go forward. Together." They climbed onto the platform. As soon as they were both standing within the ring of light, the harmonizer responded. Beams of energy scanned their bodies, syncing with their heartbeats, then joined in the space between them. The room darkened except for the glow surrounding them. Kayla reached out and placed her hands on Rowan's chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heart. Rowan touched her face gently, his emotions wide open and clear. Trust, care, awe, and love. The harmonizer flared. Kayla's skin lit up like the stars above Viridian Thorn, and Rowan's body responded. Glowing lines began to appear on his arms, matching hers. For a moment, they hovered in place, joined by the same energy that had powered this facility for centuries. Every feeling, every thought passed between them in a perfect stream of understanding. The chamber around them shifted again. The walls showed scenes of ancient beings completing this same ritual, choosing connection over separation, empathy over fear. Kayla felt it happening inside her, the transformation locking into place, not just surviving it, but becoming something more, something new. When it was done, they stepped off the platform hand in hand. The harmonizer dimmed behind them, its purpose fulfilled. Kayla's body no longer felt strange or unstable, it felt strong, whole. She had become a living bridge between species. And Rowan, he felt it too. The bond wasn't just in her. It was in him now too. Before they could leave the chamber, a new presence entered. A tall man in a clean white coat stepped forward from the shadows, his expression unreadable. He was older, with sharp eyes, and a voice that dripped calm authority. "Fascinating," he said. "You completed the sequence." Kayla instinctively moved in front of Rowan, though she knew it was more habit than necessity. "Who are you?" "My name is Dr. Morell. I've been tracking this facility for years." He gave a polite nod. "And you just made history." Rowan narrowed his eyes. "You're with the Science Union?" "I was. But this place goes beyond politics and borders." Dr. Morell walked slowly toward the harmonizer, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "You've proven that cross-species transformation is not only possible, it's successful. Do you have any idea what this means?" Kayla didn't answer. She could feel his ambition radiating off him like heat from the sun. He didn't care about the bond they'd formed or the emotional depth of the connection. He cared about the data, the possibilities, the power. Rowan stepped in front of Kayla. "We're not here to hand over what we found. This was never about profit." Dr. Merrill smiled tightly. "Then what was it about?" Kayla looked at Rowan, then back at the glowing chamber. "It was about understanding, real connection, not just between us, but between everyone who's ever felt different or alone. This place wasn't built to make weapons, it was built to bring people together." Dr. Merrill's smile faded. He understood now that they wouldn't cooperate. But before he could speak again, the Lunaris Hydra emerged from the wall behind him, silent and glowing, its many heads focused calmly on the doctor. He froze, recognizing the threat. "You should leave," Rowan said. The Hydra didn't move, but the message was clear. Dr. Morell backed away, clearly rattled. "This isn't over." "No," Kayla agreed. "It's just beginning." 3 weeks later, Kayla and Rowan stood on the shuttle platform overlooking Viridian Thorn's jungle canopy. The samples they carried were limited, just enough to prove the truth without handing it over entirely. Behind them, the Lunaris Hydra watched from the edge of the ruins, as if guarding a secret too precious to lose. As the shuttle rose into the sky, Kayla rested her hand on her abdomen, where a subtle warmth had begun to grow over the last few days. Rowan looked at her, eyes wide. "Is it possible?" She smiled softly. "Life finds a way." The stars opened before them, and somewhere in that quiet space between worlds something new had begun. Not human, not alien, but something beautifully in between, the start of a future no one had dared to imagine.